Good Monday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille show. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. It's good to be with you. I have a pretty good product lined up for you on a Monday, a rainy Monday. It's the last day of November, November 30th, 2020. I hope your Thanksgiving was spent with family, but done safely. We have Animal Connection stepping up and filling the void for Santa Pictures for this community. Entrepreneur Patty Zeller, the businesswoman behind Animal Connection, continues to impress Charlottesville and Central Virginia during this pandemic. Now a store that's focused on animals is helping the community by providing safe Santa pictures for kids and families. That story coming up for you on the I Love CVille show. A prestigious winery in the area has been sold. This winery, home to many musicians, home to some fantastic wine, home to great chocolate, in a greenhouse. A husband and wife have now sold their baby. That story for you. First Night Charlottesville has been canceled. That's the celebration on New Year's Eve around downtown Charlottesville. No more, yes, because of COVID-19. We have dining tents popping up left and right on the downtown mall as we head into chilly, chilly, chilly months. In fact, if you look at the weather forecast, you're getting in, and I'm looking at it right now, most mornings this week, you're looking at sub-freezing wake-up temperatures depending on where you are in Central Virginia. Dino Hoxhaj is going to join us from Dino's Restaurant and Dairy Market. We'll try to give you the flip book of what's happening at Dino's Market as this place, as Dino's Restaurant at Dairy Market, as this place becomes what we think is going to be one of the most popular spots in the city of Charlottesville, Dairy Market and Dairy Central. Air travel, yes, you heard me correctly. Air travel was at pandemic highs over Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving holidays. Are we on the brink of a super spreader event thanks to Thanksgiving, thanks to air travel, thanks to winter and cold temperatures? Dr. Scott Gottlieb of CNBC, in fact, he said 1 in 3 Americans, he predicts, will have COVID by the time this winter is done. That statistic, a startling statistic. If there's any saving grace, Charlottesville and Central Virginia has been an oasis of no COVID in this community. So we'll talk about 1 in 3 Americans, according to a doctor with established credentials, potentially getting COVID-19. We'll talk about the Central Virginia real estate market with Keith Smith, the distinguished gentleman. And we have a lot of sports to cover, including a UVA FSU game was canceled, a UVA San Francisco men's basketball game that left a sour taste in all our mouths. And folks, another basketball game on UVA's schedule set for early December has already been taken and stripped off the calendar. So much to cover. If you could do me the favor of giving the show a like and a share before we get to our first headline, that would mean the world to us. Hit the like button, tag a friend in the comment section, and let somebody know about the I Love CVille show that spotlights the best of Charlottesville, Virginia. Our first story is one that is bittersweet. Jeff and Michelle Saunders have sold Glass House Winery to a Richmond entrepreneur. Glass House Winery, a special place. Not many wineries in America, probably not many wineries in the world, have a greenhouse within the winery. Glass House, a special place for musicians as well. Jeff and his wonderful wife often Jeff and Michelle would have live music at Glass House. They made fantastic chocolate. I'm talking craft, custom chocolate, the type of chocolate you pay a good chunk of money for a nice box, and you provide it for somebody as a Christmas or birthday gift. Jeff and Michelle Saunders sell the business, which includes a bed and breakfast, to an entrepreneur from Richmond, Virginia, whose background is IT. His name, Jay Smith, the new owner of Glass House Winery. He moves from Richmond to Free Union to take over this brand. His family, musically inclined. Jay and his family, live music they will play at this winery in Free Union. Sad day, positive day, bittersweet day. Jeff and Michelle, A+ people. You often saw them grinding at the winery. They were champions of the arts, of live music. champion of fantastic chocolate, of good wine, of a greenhouse, and just a fantastic place to enjoy some vino with family and friends. We'll follow what Jay Smith tries to do with the brand. We'll reach out to Jay, Jeff, or Michelle to see if we can get them on the program. The news, and we lead the program with Glass House Winery has been sold. The founders, Jeff and Michelle Sanders, are going to take a breath, spent some time with family. The new owner, Jay Smith, an IT entrepreneur from Richmond, now a resident of Free Union. His family will play live music there as well. We'll follow the transition closely. The next story is something that manifested right here on this network. About a week ago, we discovered, or we thought we found a hole in the market, and that hole was around the holidays. COVID has put so much of our lives in the air, right? Every day I feel like is a different day. One of the conversations that I was noticing among mothers in particular was Santa Claus, pictures with kids, and Santa. The type of pictures you often see for a Christmas card. The type of picture you see in the refrigerator or on the table in the living room. Something that you sent to grandma. Something that you sent to the extended family. A lot of the moms in the area were wondering what was going to happen here. So we brought this to your attention on the I Love CVille show. We said we have a void that needs to be filled. It's got to be done safely. It's got to be done COVID-freely and COVID-safely. We know that, socially distanced. Well, Patty Zeller, friend of this program, Patty's the owner of Animal Connection. She hosts a show on this network called What's Barking Local. Patty listened to the show. She is a avid listener and just a great person to have in this community. She heard the broadcast and she said, you know what? An Animal Connection, I think I can help out. And over the course of the show we did on about 8 days ago on this network, and today, here's the news. Patty Zeller and Animal Connection, get it on screen if you could, Judah Wickhauer. They're going to host Santa photos for at least one day at Animal Connection at Iggs Park. They're going to have a photographer come over. It's going to be done in a socially distanced and safe fashion. You cannot sit on Santa's lap, but you can be near him and taking a photo with him. So here we have an entrepreneur that's local to the community, rising to the challenge and saying, I hear what you need. I will do my best to solve the problem. And that's Patty Zeller. The details on screen, if we can get it on there again, we'll continue to emphasize these details as we get closer to the date on the I Love CVille network. But folks, if you want photos with Santa, Sunday, December 6th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Animal Connection. I think this is going to be a big-time event, and it's going to sell out quickly. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Animal Connection. Go to their Facebook page and reserve your spot now because I have a feeling this is going to move and sell out quickly. I want to show you a photo from the downtown mall and from Wilson Ritchie's The Whiskey Jar. There's a tent, and this is courtesy of Waldo, Jaquith, and CVille News. I follow Waldo on Twitter. Tell me when that's on screen if you could, Judah Wickhauer. Look at the screen now, okay? You see the tent outside the Whiskey Jar? We have people in this community doing whatever they can to survive and make it through winter. The governor is not allowing people to sit inside except for what? A 25% clip? Is that the threshold now for inside seating? So Wilson and his colleagues are doing what they can. He's not the only one on the mall with a tent. Okay? So I'm of the standpoint where if you're innovating and you're doing what you can to keep your business forward, job well done. That's why I brought it on this show. This man is doing whatever he can to keep his team members employed and to have money in their pockets and to keep the lights on. Tents popping up now all over the city of Charlottesville. We'll keep you posted on those tents. First Night Charlottesville's been canceled. I don't know if you've heard the news. The New Year's Eve event that happens around the downtown mall that celebrates the arts, an event that's often done as the non-boozing or the non-get wasted, get hammered event, the safe family type of New Year's celebration. It's been canceled. A bummer, but certainly expected. First Night Charlottesville in the downtown mall, no more. I think what you're seeing right now is you're seeing, obviously, the second surge. And it's gotten to the point where why don't we jump a couple of spots on the rundown here? It's gotten to the point where the CNBC's Dr. Scott Gottlieb has said he expects 1 in 3 Americans to have COVID after this winter. 1 in 3. Thanksgiving travel was, and we're talking air travel, was at a pandemic high. We have seen the most airline travel over the last 3 to 4 days since this pandemic has ravaged America in March. Okay? So you have the elements of cold, you have the elements of winter, super spreader events like holidays, and Gottlieb says 30% of Americans may be infected with coronavirus by year's end. This guy, a very, very credentialed and respected doctor who I watch daily on CNBC as he delivers perspective that undoubtedly impacts and influences the financial markets. So we're left with, what do we do? What do we do now? Where do we go? How do we do it? What's the next 3 to 4 months mean as we work and inch our way to a vaccine? Those are all good questions, and I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. The path that I'm choosing to take with my family is the path of wearing a mask, being safe and social distance, using that mindset. Over Thanksgiving, my mother-in-law came down. She got a COVID test. The COVID test came back negative. Everyone in the family was positive and happy about that. I don't know. That's the path we're going to take. Wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, take tests periodically, and wait for the vaccine to come down the pipe. I mean, I'm looking left and right, I'm seeing people also uncertain and doing whatever they can to survive. And that's just what it is. That's where we're at. A headline out of Richmond I want to bring to your attention. This Richmond headline is something we're going to be seeing quite a bit in the news cycle. Medical cannabis dispensary is open in Richmond, Virginia. It's the second of its kind to open in the Commonwealth. The first opened in Bristol in October. This medical cannabis facility in Richmond opened on Friday, November 27th. This comes on the heels of Governor Ralph Northam over the last 2 days rolling out a quote-unquote working group. And this working group is putting the plan in place for 18 to 24 months from now for cannabis being a retail option for everybody in Virginia. It's happening. You see it. You got medical first, Bristol in October. Medical, you need a prescription. You got Richmond now, November 27th. 2 of them in the Commonwealth, the first 2. Right after the first 2 open, the governor announces a working group of bureaucrats and public servants. And these bureaucrats and public servants are getting together via Zoom. They've already met over 20 times to put the playbook in place for the rollout of this over the next 18 to 24 months. You know, there was a story in the News in Advance. And the News in Advance covers Lynchburg, Nelson County, and some of southwestern Virginia. And this story in the News in Advance was characterizing or chronicling the folks in southwestern Virginia and their inability to pay their bills. And in 2008, according to a survey, folks in southwestern Virginia, nearly 40% of them could not pay their basic necessity bills. 40% in southwest Virginia. There's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that a Caesars casino is targeting southwest Virginia to try to build a brick and mortar. It knows the population is financially vulnerable. Caesars does. And Caesars is also aware that if it builds this brick and mortar casino, one that would be $400 million investment, that the community would see an uptick in economic activity, new jobs, and potentially people that were starving or financially starving or hurting could now find a sunshine at the end of the tunnel, a light at the end of the tunnel. So that's why Caesars goes after Southwest Virginia to try to get its casino to come to fruition, which, let's be frank, it's going to. That's the same strategy that will follow with cannabis. The same strategy. We'll follow that story closely on this very network. And a story that we need to follow closely here is one that was on news.virginia.edu. It's the media arm of the University of Virginia. How is the UVA health system going to prepare for a COVID second surge? It's doing it now. The last thing the health system needs is for elective surgeries to be down again. So if you can get that headline on screen for me, Judah. It's on screen now. I didn't see your thumbs up there. Health system, as we speak, is prepping for the second surge. It's doing extra PPP. It's monitoring open beds. It's trying to uptick its hiring of healthcare personnel. The hiring of healthcare personnel in America is extremely difficult. There is a healthcare shortage as we speak. Health system says it's doing what it can to get things going in the right direction. Comments, we will get to them now. Hello, Patty Zeller. She says we have the best Santa for the photos. I'm excited to see the pictures of Santa on What's Barking Local on Wednesday, Patty Zeller. Barbara Lundgren is watching the program. She says the Saunders family did an amazing job with Glass House. They will be missed. I agree with that. Whenever I went to Glass House, I always thought that it was like this little escape. It was this little tucked away oasis. You go into the facility, into the greenhouse, and it was so beautiful. And every time I went there, I left with chocolates and after hearing live music. Berto plays there all the time. I believe Vincent does as well. Vincent Zorn, who's come on this program. A lot of musicians. All right, Dino is going to join us in a matter of moments. The food stalls at Dairy Market and Dairy Central are very close to a grand opening. We've had Angelique on this program from Angelique's. Now we're going to have Dino from Dino's Restaurant. I'm going to ask him to chronicle opening a food stall and a food business, a new business, or moving his from 29 to Preston and what that was like during COVID. And I'm going to ask him what we can expect from Dino's moving forward, what we can expect from Dairy Market moving forward. This is going to be the hot spot. I really believe that. This is going to be the hot spot for an extended period of time. So Dino is going to join us in 4 minutes on this program. Then we'll welcome Keith Smith of Real Talk at about 1:05 on this very show. On the other side of those interviews, I have a lot of news from the sports world to relay to you. We have so much from the University of Virginia. Basketball, we saw them lose to San Francisco. This team has ridiculous talent, obscene depth, and the loss to San Francisco is not indicative of how I think this season is going to play out. The question we must ask ourselves is, will this season actually transpire? Virginia has a matchup against William & Mary on December 12th. That game has already been canceled. It's on December 12th. After an outbreak COVID with the William & Mary basketball team, they've paused all activity for 2 weeks. The team is loaded. The loss to San Francisco left a sour taste, especially with everything we're going through. I still think Tony Bennett's got a basketball team that's going to contend for a national championship. At the same time this basketball team is losing to San Francisco, we're finding out that the UVA-Florida State football game is canceled. In fact, the Seminoles have canceled their entire football season. FSU was a 9.5-point underdog to UVA. Now the Wahoos have 2 games left against Boston College and against Virginia Tech. At best, maybe 6-4. I would have loved to seen them beat up the Seminoles in Tallahassee. Las Vegas certainly saw it playing out that way. The Hokies got a big-time win against Villanova. We'll talk about that on the program. I'm excited about the dairy market news. Why don't we tell them how they can save $288 with Ting Fiber Internet, Judah? $288 with Ting Fiber Internet. It's the best internet in Central Virginia, and we use it to power this program. Ting Fiber Internet. Use iloveseville.ting.com, iloveseville.ting.com for the best internet in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Judah, I'm going to reach out to Dino now. I'm excited to hear about Dairy Market. In fact, we got Dino on the line. Hey, Dino. How are you, man? Let's see if we can get that camera turned on so we can see your handsome face, Dino. We got you right there. Let's see, you tap that screen and you turn on that camera. We got you.
I thought the camera should have been on.
That's okay. We can talk. You got an on-screen graphic for him, Judah? Okay, so Dino, let me ask you this. We got your picture on screen here. Okay, there we go. Now we got him. So let me ask you this question, Dino. How are things going at your restaurant? How's everything going?
Well, we're still intensively working, even though, as everything else, COVID has put behind everything. But more likely that December, before Christmas, we will be open, us and some other vendors there.
Well, that's good. That's right around the corner. How's this? Yeah. How's the year been? Put it in perspective, the year for us.
Well, the year has been rough for everybody. It's been one of the years that nobody has experienced in the past. So it's just like we were working the whole time, and just go with what we can do day to day, just like everybody else. So it's been challenging, but challenges are welcome sometimes, and there is nothing we can do about it. It's just go with the flow.
I love it. Well said. I'm going to throw this comment to you. So, Dino, we know you for delicious food, amazing hospitality. We know you for friendship. We know you for generosity. You know what? Charlottesville just knows Dino is a cool guy. Okay? What can we expect at your new restaurant at Dairy Market, Dino?
Well, everything what you said is, I think, is very complimentary. I appreciate your everything what you said just means a lot to me, and that's what we want to deliver there. That we want to be pro-local, the friendliest customer service we can offer, the best pizza in town we can offer, and the best rotisserie chicken that nobody in Charlottesville has seen. That we have a wood-fire rotisserie chicken, and the machine is the rotisserie machine is custom built from an Italian guy that he's been doing since 60s. So he built this one uniquely for us, and it's going to be wood-fired, and we're going to have a lot of different flavors of chicken that come into the Dairy Market. So we have 2 stalls there and 1 kitchen, but we feed 2 of the different stalls. One is a pizza side that's going to be like a wood-fire pizza, and the other one is different varieties of wraps and chickens and sides for the chickens.
You know what I'm really excited about is I think I've tried almost every restaurant that's coming to Dairy Market, every food brand. Can you put in perspective how your neighbors and those colleagues that are opening up food halls are really making this a destination, and how a rising tide is good for all ships at Dairy Market?
Well, we all working very close together. We will be like one family there, and all these vendors there are, absolutely amazing people. And all of we're going to work together and then just make the Dairy Market appeal. That's something that Central Virginia, probably in Charlottesville, any smaller town like Charlottesville hasn't seen before. And Stony Point just nailed it with a Dairy Market developing there, and it's going to be incredible. So I can't, as you see me, I'm wearing the chef's coat. I can't wait to jump in and start making the food for you all.
We're excited, Dino. We're going to be there from the beginning. Can you put in perspective the journey this year? I think we all experienced some vulnerability, fear. We were all scared at one time. And you know what? Those are natural and welcome feelings. And we have to embrace those and overcome it. How about you personally and the feelings you experienced over the last 8 months or so?
Well, it's been challenging. It's been something that, like I said, I experienced a lot of stuff in my past with the turmoils where I come from and the war and then all of these things. But there, like bunch of other people are saying this is invisible enemy. So what we learn every day on a daily basis, what goes on, and you see all these cases what goes on in the society and around the globe, especially here in the United States, that you see all these people like losing their lives and everybody losing their loved ones. It's just like these are not just numbers; these are like individuals. They're like loved of other people and loves other people. That and it just makes you feel like. What about us? Like you worry about your family, you worry about your neighbors and your friends and relatives and everybody. So while we like probably since spring we started like learning more about it and we kind of got used to like cope with this thing now, but it's still out there, it's still real. That's why the dairy market has taken extra steps to make sure that when we start working there, we will keep the like social distancing and all the precaution what is recommended and beyond to take care of our guests there and our employees.
I love it. I love it. You're getting
But
props.
in general, it's been a rough year. Like I said, constantly we have been working since the beginning of the year. We were supposed to open, as you know, earlier in the year this year, but because of the COVID and all the delays, what happened, like we are where we are now, but we are very close to the opening, and then hopefully we don't have to open and shut down if there will be any calls from the governor or like federal government. So that's what we are hoping that we're gonna serve safely and delicious food, but everybody will be safe.
I cannot wait. Johnny Ornalis is watching from El Marachi. Welcome, Johnny, to the program. Your family's watching back home right now. Dino, welcome to the broadcast. I'm counting 5 different countries watching the show. I think that's a reflection of Dino, our guest. I'll throw this to you. Give us some insight into the menu, some insight into price points, maybe favorite items on the menu, dishes by name. Just give us a sneak peek of what we can expect from your menu.
The dishes will be named kind of like very modern, and we named there's a pizza like very supreme pizza named after me, and I named one pizza after my wife, and then our marketing lady that we chose very like funny and very catchy names for all of our pizzas and our wraps. But our chickens, like I like to talk about the chickens because there is something that nobody has seen before. It's not like something special, but our chicken will be local from Harrisonburg. It'll be sustainably handled. Also, like you can call it in the religious perspective as halal too, because it will be like humanely, I don't want to mention the name, but slaughtered, like humanly handled. And we have signed up with Cisco, which we are very happy to like do business with. And the chickens will be marinated at least at least 24 hours in advance, and it's going to be all wood fired. And we will have flavors like from South Asia to like Caribbeans to like Mediterranean and North Africa and different kind of stuff. And all will be like healthy choices of sides coming with it. And the price range is like start per person like $7.5 to $8 per person.
Well,
And
I cannot wait to get there, Dino. I got a couple questions coming in for you right now. This is a good question. I thought about this one as well. The man names a pizza after his wife. Man, that pizza must taste really, really good. And that comes in from Grace, who's watching in Belmont right now. Dino, naming a pizza after your wife, that's got to be a darn good pizza right there.
Yeah, I mean, she likes it's a buffalo chicken pizza actually, but she has her own twist of the amount of like spice to add into it. And then the base, and so we are like that. When we had our previous business, that's what she liked to have, and then she always had that pizza, and then we just decided to name after her. So
very nice. All right, get us out of here on this note. Other restaurateurs and entrepreneurs in the food hall that you're excited to try their food. Who else are you excited to try over at Dairy Market?
Oh man, I'll be like Angelique's, and then Take It Away. They're right next to me, and Chim, and then we're gonna have like move through right next across from us. If somebody wants to have like crust dipped in ice cream or anything like that, we're just gonna like reach out and move through, and then just like if you want in the cold pizza to put ice cream on top, anything you like, or like calzone with Nutella inside, and top with ice cream, we will be open to anything to like work together. But I am thrilled to try everybody there, and then in the end of the shift, I would love to try any like cocktails from Milksman bar right across from us. Like I said, it's coming along very well. It looks amazing, and it's gonna be like something that again never seen in Charlottesville or surrounding areas. It's just gonna be like top-notch like serving and then at the hub to like people gather. We all have to like make sure that after COVID, there is plenty of parking, and the whole area developing there is it's breathtaking.
I love it. Hey, Dino, we're going to be there from day one. You are the man. You represent a dairy
We will
market
have
well.
you there. I can't wait to have you there. You have been very true supporter, and then I wish like everybody can be like you and then support local businesses, especially restaurants. What's going on right now in our world in general, and then the biggest hits they got, it's like a restaurant, the local restaurants, and they don't have the deep pockets like the big corporation to reach out, and all the difficulties with PPP and other like stimulus that the government has done. I don't think it's going to be enough for like someone to stay afloat, but we're trying our best. We just don't want to give. We are food lovers. We want to continue what we do, and we just don't want to give up yet or ever what's going on. So
Well,
we're gonna overcome this, and there are great days ahead.
well said. There are great days ahead. I truly believe there are great days ahead. Dino, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're going to kill it. Thank you for your time today, Dino.
Thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to see everybody there.
All right, thanks for coming on the show. He is A-plus people, so that's going to be right around the corner in December for that opening. I just got a tweet from my buddy who is a beat writer that covers UVA basketball. The University of Virginia just dropped to number 15 in the latest AP Top 25 after the loss to San Francisco. UVA now 15, the AP poll just released after the loss to San Francisco. They host San Francisco, Pennsylvania tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the John Paul Jones Arena. Keith Smith, we will go to you in about 1 minute on this program. Keith Smith is of the Yes Team Realtors, the star of Real Talk Tuesdays and Fridays on the I Love CVille network. I think when this place opens, and there's a couple other food stalls that soon will be announced. I don't want to release that information now because I don't want to take the thunder of the new food stalls away from the business owners. They deserve to make that announcement. It's a friend of mine, okay? And this particular individual owns a restaurant that's established. And this food stall is going to be announced relatively soon. I don't think it's been announced yet. I think this place is going to be extremely popular. Why it's going to be extremely popular is the eclectic mix of food, the tap room, the parking piece, the ability to spread out, and the ability to take your food from a window to go and to eat somewhere you're comfortable doing. And I know they're a little bit behind on the grand opening, but everything's behind. Everything's behind. And we're now probably, a week or two from finally seeing some folks inside there? We'll follow it closely on this program. Keith's got some news because he knows that team very well of Stony Point of what we're going to do. We'll cover it on Real Talk. I'll see if I can get Tom from Take It Away on this program. We'll see if we can get River or Wilson and my friend who's opening up one of the stalls that has yet to be announced on this program as well. Judah Wickhauer's our director. I'm going to reach out to Keith Smith now. I want to talk some dairy market with Smith on this very program. Rico Hearns, hello. Keith Smith now on the line. Judah Wickhauer. Keith, good afternoon. How are you?
Friday, so this is I don't have my Jerry fix and my I Love Charlottesville fix, so I'm trying to make up for it now. Just listening to your interview with Dino as I was waiting in the green room to come on in. How'd you like that, huh?
That was great. I loved it.
The virtual green room. I mean, how cool is that to have the name Dino, right? You know, Keith and Jerry's kind of boring. Dino and you know, being a fellow doing a New Yorker, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better guy to make pizza. Dino and pizza go together. So he's gonna rock it, you know. Next thing you know, we're gonna have a little bit of cocktail, being kind of we'll do a Frank Sinatra Dino thing. But it was that was a cool interview. Great guy. Looking forward to partaking in particularly his chicken, which my wife lived in the Middle East was born actually in the Middle East, so we're really looking forward to that. But we have a little bit to talk about with Dairy Market, right? Because we are going to do Real Talk Live on Friday from there. How yet? We've got to have our pre-production meeting. We haven't had that yet.
Well, let me ask you this. What's happening on Friday?
Yeah, so I thought that's what our 145 meeting was
Well, no,
for.
at Dairy Market. At Dairy Market. What's happening at
Yeah,
Dairy
yeah.
Market?
Yeah, so it's the grand opening based on our mutual friend Jody Mills is going to be on the 5th. Real Talk and I Love Charlottesville Network are going to give a pre-sneak view to the general public. We will be the only media outfit, for lack of a better term, out there doing it. And I ordered my brand new gimbal or stabilizer, and we're going to walk around the Dairy Market and show all the beautiful vendors that they have set up. And Jody will talk a little bit about their next steps. But this is going to be the first. This is going to be the reveal. We're doing it, brother. You and I and Real Talk and I Love Charlottesville is going to give the big reveal to the public.
What excites you about the project?
Man, you got to see it. It's just hard to explain when you and what I'm going to do or we're going to do is really not going to do it justice. But when you walk in there, so for instance, if you're driving right now on Preston, and because it gets dark at 4 o'clock nowadays, going towards Barracks Road, look to your left, and this beautiful Dairy Market sign that they have in there shines through the windows up there. They've just really done a great job. I'm excited about it. You and I are food lovers, and we tend to take a drink from time to time, and maybe a small one. And they're going to have some great opportunities. It's perfectly set up for COVID. You couldn't have been any better. And we're just going to go from stall to stall and try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, sit down, have a conversation. I mean, it's cool. Very European, by the way.
I cannot wait. Keith Smith, Real Talk, Tuesdays, Fridays, I Love CVille Network, 10:15 a.m. Friday. The big reveal, courtesy of Real Talk, of Dairy Market and Dairy Central on Preston. Keith Smith and his vast network, Jody Mills, is going to be over there giving us a tour of what is just an impactful project by Chris Henry and Stony Point. You know, we talk often on the market, and we have a pinch in inventory, and we have home values going up year over year. 313,000, the average in America right now for a home sale. What do you make of the market right now? I was reading an article on CNBC earlier today. October, a little bit of slow in sales, and that potentially tied to the pinch and the fact that prices are upticking. Anywhere you want to go on this, Keith?
Yeah, so it's purely an inventory thing, and I actually ran some numbers as I was waiting just on Lake Monticello, right? Because it's easy to do. It's 4,500 homes, easy to search on it. Pretty interesting. Right now, there's only 17 homes on the market, and the median list price is 264. And right now, there's 48 homes in the pending queue, just in Lake Monticello. So that's a 31 unit difference that's just not there. And we're going to talk about this a little bit tomorrow. I think our subject for tomorrow is going to be what can we do? And maybe we'll get some real estate agents to chime on, the general public or the folks who are watching and listening. What do we need to do to loosen up this inventory crunch? And we talk about this all the time. I think a lot of it is where am I going to go? And I want to tackle that a little bit tomorrow, and do a little Batman and Robin and see what some feedback we get in it. But an interesting statistic: year over year, meaning last year versus the current year to date, right now, we're literally at the same number of units sold in Lake Monticello, roughly 275. The difference is the days on market are this year roughly 15. Last year was 34. Big difference. But look, in reality, guys, anything under 3 months is awesome. I mean, we're just really anemic as far as that goes. And by the way, the price, which I was very surprised to see, was almost within $5,000 year over year, which is not what I would have expected to see in my quick crunch.
You would have expected to see a much larger delta there.
I would have expected to see a much larger delta in that. But I think that's kind of the price range out in Lake Monticello. I think you don't really want to get too much higher or too much lower in it. So I think that's a healthy sign from my perspective out that way. But I didn't get a chance to crunch Charlottesville or whatever because we've been, as you know, been traveling, visiting grandson and daughter and stuff.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was 4 of us. Well, 4 and a little one, a 2-year-old, 4 and an 8th, or however that is on it. Yeah, which is,
perfect.
It is what it is. It's perfect, but it's not our family, and you know that well. We're normally 20, 30 people for Thanksgiving, but we all kind of went our separate ways, and we all did these little micros. And what we did, as we talked about on Tuesday, I set up this camera and Zoom account, and we had 30, 40 people for pie. So it was a lot of fun. We had a pie Zoom meeting, and everybody got a chance to do it.
So you didn't see my buddy James Watson over Thanksgiving?
I did not. We saw him virtually, though, if that counts.
That does count. So tomorrow, my friend, a snapshot on Real Talk. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think I just kind of shouted out a little bit. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a reveal of what Yona and I are doing. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. But then I want to try to engage our viewers, our listeners, to see what can we do to help unclog some of this log jam, for lack of a better term, that we have. And I just got a text from Jody as I'm watching you. It looks like they're pushing the opening back to the 10th, but we're still going to do our big reveal on the 4th. But apparently COVID's got them a little bit on their permitting process.
I'll throw this to you. And you know what? I just got a text from a vendor that said the same thing. Imagine that.
Look
at what's going on right here. The vendor just said the same thing to me. All right, so we got them watching. We know they're watching. All right, so we know we can do this. All right, so last week we talked on the show about Santa Claus and not having pictures for kids. One of the listeners heard it, Patty Zeller at Animal Connection, and she's risen to the occasion to solve it. A couple months ago on this show, we talked about how we can't have a 4th of July fireworks. And then a few listeners on this show said, you know what, we heard it, let's do the fireworks ourselves. This is something we're very good at doing. What do we do to help this pinch with this massive audience we have? What do we do?
Man, that's hopefully what we're going to try to figure out tomorrow live in front of all these people. I don't know, to be honest with you, and that's what that beautiful brain between those 2 ears we're going to tap into our pretty awesome viewership, which blows my mind, is what can we do? How can we get this logjam freed open? A lot of it is confidence, right? Right. We talk about this with COVID. It's kind of strangled some of that to a certain degree. On the other hand, I think the primary question is if Keith and Yona Smith are going to move, where am I moving to? So I'm either moving out of state, right? Or I'm moving up, I'm moving from whatever price range to another price range or whatever it may be. But, we have buyers that are hard to find things for them to buy. But on the other hand, when you take a look at these 17 houses, and I looked at them closely while you were talking to Dino, a high percentage of them are just going to be hard to sell because they don't meet all these 5 criteria, right? They're in the right location. We know that. We know they're at the right price range. We know that. But if they're missing features and conditions, particularly at that price point, people don't have an extra $100,000 to throw into bringing it up, nor should they, because as we ran the numbers, year over year is about the same. So you don't want to put another $50,000 into a house or $100,000 into a house and can't sell it. This is why you need a trusted advisor. This is why Zillow, this thing is never going to do what we do for a living, is to have that conversation with you and figure out how to get there. I know we're doing tomorrow's show already, so
no, that's good. That's good.
I'll shut up.
You're going to love this comment that just came in, and we'll close on this because I think it's going to make you happy. Jerry, I watched the shows on your network.
I got a pizza named after me?
This is from, Yeah, that would be nice, right? If we had the Keith Smith pizza or the Jerry. This is from Amy Chisholm. Jerry, I watch the shows on your network routinely. I often watch Keith's show because I like to follow the real estate market, and I think he's pretty funny. tell Keith I like casual-looking Keith a lot. They're giving you props on the shirt. That's Amy Chisholm right there. Normally Keith is Monday. He's more casual than Tuesdays and Fridays. So Amy's giving you props on casual Keith right here.
Well, truth be known, since this camera's only here up.
I don't want to know what's on under there.
Just saying.
I don't want to know what's under there, casual Keith. Casual Keith.
Casual Keith. That's it. There's going to be a new thing now. Casual Keith. Yeah. It's comfortable, Keith. This is in my Zoom room on 30. Well, I can't tell you where I live.
Yeah, don't say your address.
No. I get myself into trouble. Yeah, but my takeaway from that, somebody actually thinks I'm funny. I'm gonna have to tell my daughters that.
Your daughters think you're funny. You're telling me your daughters
No,
don't think
I get this whole dad joke thing all the time. I just came up from a week with it. Dad joke. Alrighty, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I miss our time together. And we will see everybody tomorrow. And just guys, just be kind to one another out there, okay?
We'll see you tomorrow, Keith.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for the time. See you
Our
later.
pleasure. Keith Smith, Real Talk, 10:15 a.m. tomorrow. Real Talk, 10:15 a.m. Friday. It is an A+ show. I like casual Keith as well, Ms. Chisholm. Couple items out of the sports notebook before we get to some comments. If you have any comments to offer, put them in the comment section now. Give the show a like and a share as well. From the sports notebook, UVA Florida State game canceled, the football game this past Saturday. A lot of speculation is Florida State's football team is so bad, Seminoles administration just said, to the hell with the season. Okay, so now another Florida State game canceled. They're going to axe the entire season. UVA was a 9.5-point favorite. Bronco Mendenhall and the Wahoos have Boston College and Virginia Tech left. We knock on IKEA, fake IKEA, Keith Smith, that's for you. We knock on fake IKEA that the Boston College and Virginia Tech games happen. If there's any saving grace, Boston College has done a hell of a job of managing COVID-19. San Francisco stunned the University of Virginia by 1 point. San Francisco beats UVA and Tony Bennett at the Mohegan Sun over Thanksgiving. I got to say something about this game. I know it was a tough loss. I know it had some of us reflecting on the UMBC game where nobody beat us. I'm going to say not so fast, my friends. I'm going to say it's game 2 of the season. It was an opponent UVA did not know they were playing until a couple days beforehand. And Tony Bennett is going to use this loss to make the team even stronger. Virginia basketball has got so much depth on this team. And Trey Murphy III, the transfer who found out a couple hours before the first game of the season that he could play this year, Trey Murphy III is the real deal, okay? I know everybody's talking Sam Hauser, preseason player of the year candidate. I understand why people like Sam Hauser. He's a big guy that can play inside and out. Trey Murphy III reminds me a little bit of DeAndre Hunter, okay? I don't think he's as physical as DeAndre Hunter, and he doesn't have the talent, athletic talent that DeAndre does. But this guy is 6'9", a similar height of DeAndre. He's a wing and a slasher, a guy that can shoot it from downtown, and a guy that can attack the rack. You know he grew about 4 inches from when he got to college to now, Trey Murphy III. This guy very well could be our best player on the basketball team, okay? And you have backup depth at point guard. You have 2, maybe 3 really go-to scorers in Jay Huff, Sam Hauser, and Trey Murphy III. This team, if COVID-19 does not wreck the season, Tony Bennett's team will be in a national championship hunt. I truly believe that, okay? 2 more items out of the notebook. William & Mary's game against UVA has been canceled. UVA and William & Mary were going to play in December. William & Mary's having a COVID outbreak. The Tribe have paused all basketball activity for 2 weeks. So UVA, the first 2 games of the season, COVID affected for UVA. Now a game in December, COVID is impacting. I've said this for 2 weeks. We just need to pray that the season happens. Pray that the season happens. And from a basketball standpoint, we need to give some props to Virginia Tech. The Hokies upset Villanova, the number 3 ranked team in the nation. Hokies upset Villanova. UVA is 15 in the latest AP poll. So here's what we know. Last day of November. I'm going to close on this. Here's what we know. We know that the basketball team has more depth than it's had in a really long time. We know that this football team has done a good job with COVID. And we know Bronco Mendenhall and the Wahoos are turning the corner. We also know that they are running out of runway. And by runway, I mean games to be played. The Florida State cancellation's a big one. It was a chance to pad the record and potentially finish the season by beating Florida State, Boston College, and Virginia Tech. Okay? Virginia should go into that matchup against the Hokies with a 5-4 mark after beating BC. Time will tell. We also know that Patty Zeller and Animal Connection are rising to the void and offering Santa pictures for this community. She's a business that's pet related. She realized the community was asking for something, and she said, you know what? I'm going to pivot and innovate. I know I could pull this off for Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Let me offer Christmas photos for everybody that wants it. We know that Dr. Scott Gottlieb of CNBC thinks 30% of America will have COVID-19 at the end of this winter. We know that air travel was at a pandemic high. People getting on airplanes over Thanksgiving. Pandemic high air travel, all time. We know that Jeff and Michelle Saunders sold Glass House Winery to a Richmond entrepreneur. And we see the tents popping up on the downtown mall to offer outdoor dining for people who want to come to restaurants in the winter months. Folks, it's happening. We're surviving. We're managing. Is it tough? Yes, but we're pulling through. And that's what separates winners and losers. And I hate to use that word, losers, but having your back against the wall and figuring things out and making it work no matter the circumstances is what it takes until we get to this vaccine. Oh, man. All right, one more comment. Let's give Scott Wagner some love, Judah. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. Dr. Wagner's changing people's lives through chiropractic care, sports medicine, physical therapy. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrative Medicine. Final comment on the program. This comment from Marie. I'm going to butcher your last name. Can I just say, I'm going to call you Marie O. Marie O, so I don't butcher your last name. Jerry, I love what you're doing with the I Love CVille show. Thank you for keeping us informed with all content that's happening. One of the things that you cover and talk about often is real estate. If you could start discussing the rental market as well, that would mean a lot to us. My family and I are struggling to find a home that we can rent in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Please and thank you. We could do that. You know what? I encourage you, Marie, to follow Real Talk on Tuesdays and Fridays because we talk the rental market often on that show. But I'll bring more of the rental real estate market into this program as well, per your request. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for joining us on the program. My name is Jerry Miller. That's the I Love CVille show. It airs at 12:30 Mondays and Fridays on this network. A lot we're going to cover tomorrow, including some rankings, including some business developments that I think are going to break between now and tomorrow, including a deal that I think is going to influence the downtown mall. Stay tuned to tomorrow's program, and thank you for joining us today. No, if that deal goes through.